Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on May 18th, 2022 at approximately 1:43 p.m. PST. Well, time to get carried away with something else here. Well, actually, pretty much the same thing. Okay, and that is working on your house. In this case, I'm looking at it from a slightly, shall we say, offset angle. And then, whoop, forgot to grab one thing. Right there. Okay. Pardon me for turning my back to you, but frankly can't see behind my back well. Not overly well. Anyway, this fine little book, I've shown it to you before. Okay. This is the hard copy for the third book in the series of in the trilogy of the Yldrbacian Chronicles. Now, understanding that the Yldrbacian Chronicles are a project I started when I was 15. Okay, these two books are already up and running. Okay, we have book 1 and book 2. Book 3 I've already got the cover design for. Okay, like I've already started on some of the other stuff that goes with it. The thing is, when you're looking at your house, the big part of that is the material world. Now, do understand, I came back to this world, to this life, for one primary purpose, and that is to remind everybody, everyone in existence, that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, for me, in all fairness, I looked at the material world starting when I was a kid. I really isolated myself from a lot of people, primarily, and I'm still trying to figure this one out. I don't know if I isolated myself because I understood people or because I didn't. What I do know is I never paid any functional attention to finances. They are extremely important, but contrary to popular belief, they are not the root of all evil. Okay, the fear that has been bred into this family, well, really, but into society, into existence, is the problem that we have. It's the fear side of it, because you only have two emotions to work with. You've either got fear or you've got love. Okay. Now, the reality is that's the two, and between those two, you come up with reality. The question you have to ask is this: which one are you going to focus on? Okay, are you going to focus on fear or are you going to focus on love? Now, I could continue focusing on the fear side of it, which is why I became reclusive in the first place. But it's recently come to my attention that I've got to step out into the public light, especially when you consider that what I'm working with here, and this is only one venue I'm using, okay? This little book here contains a whole pile of information, but what I found out, okay, while I was writing it, because I write the hard copy here, and then I move it to soft copy. Well, I was working on it today, okay, and it turns out that I have to move one of the chapters because I'm writing all 12 of the books in the entire system, in the entire chronicle, or the entire saga. Okay, I'm writing all 12 books at once. And there comes a point when you're writing along, you go, oops, I can't have this happen if I don't have this happen first. So what was going to be chapter 11 is now being moved backwards. I think I got that right. Okay, going here. No, not that one. Scroll up here and we have, yeah. What was going to be chapter 10 has had to be moved to chapter 11 and vice versa. Because I can't have in chapter 11 a bunch of wounded being brought back without them actually being wounded. Okay, so I moved that back into chapter 10 to take care of that major problem so that chapter 11 can handle it properly. Now, as I've told many people before, okay, the tools I bring to the table are tools that I personally use. Okay, the philosophies in life that I talk about are the ones I personally live by. Now, very important you remember this. that no matter what project you're working on, no matter what goal you have in mind, okay, it's imperative that you do two things. One, you break it down into smaller projects. Okay, keep the projects down to 15 minutes to half an hour in length. Okay, and that's where this little list comes from that I've got here. Now, you notice I tend to keep things reasonably within arm's reach here. Okay, but this is a list. I don't expect you to read it, but I keep the list on the go. Right now, I have, because of the fact that I'm right now recording the journey. Okay, when I get finished it, the next thing in line is to post it. Okay, and I've already got 2 more goals laid out right after that. Okay, so I've actually got 4 goals listed right now. But you break them down so you can check them off. When you get one checked off, check it off and write down a third one. This is done in perpetuity, meaning it goes on forever. Do not forget to put a list again. Do not forget to include in that list when you're taking a lunch break, when you're getting sleep. Because don't forget, if you keep this list running, by the end of the day, the last thing on the list is theoretically sleep. When you get up first thing in the morning, you've already got 3 goals on the list to get started with. This is a tool that works regardless of what your situation is, as far as I've come to understand, assuming you can think at all. This system, in theory, will work for you. Okay, people that are professional procrastinators. Again, rest assured, up until I was 56, I was very good at procrastinating. Okay, only I took it one step beyond the norm. I usually do, in all fairness. But the saying goes, never do today what you can put off till tomorrow. I didn't even have the patience for that. I went, never do what you can put off. Okay, but what I found is it put me behind the 8 ball. Here I am at 59 years old. Okay, and I finally got things moving in the right direction, but now it's time to really focus. Okay. So as soon as I get done posting this, I'll clear off my office desk again, and then I'll clear off the painting station. Okay. Now I suspect as soon as I do that, as a matter of fact, and this is why I keep this list handy. Right after that, now again, this boils down to I don't do one thing at a time well. But when you're striving to get something completed, if you don't know how to get started, okay, it is very important that you talk to somebody that has done it successfully. Okay, now what I've done here with the Return to Paradise, which is the book that I'm primarily working on. I'm working on 32 at the same time. Okay, but I've made some miscalculations. I'm not perfect by any means. But what I ended up doing, okay, and where I'm standing now, is I've got in the Return to Paradise, I've got 197 out of an estimated 400 I will be working on. Okay, pages already written. Okay, but I've got an extra, I think, 15 to 20 that I'll be working on transferring today from hard copy onto soft copy. But now, if you've got a goal that you put on hold, in the past, okay, really now is the time to seriously take a look at it and reassess: is this a goal that you still desire to accomplish? If it is, regardless of the reason you put it on hold, no matter whether you quit it and whether you stop, like I know a couple of people that have started writing a story and they quit writing because somebody told them it wasn't good enough. Okay, somebody told them that it wasn't long enough, they didn't have the connection to it. I'm telling you, given the number of people on the planet, get the story written. The Yldrbacian Chronicles, I'm writing because it's a goal I put together for myself. Okay, and at present, that is exactly what I'm working on. Okay, I'm not claiming to be the best. not by any functional stretch of the imagination. There are some phenomenal writers out there, but to the best of my knowledge, okay, and this is simply my knowledge, because I'm not well read, but I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons now since I was 13, amongst other games. Okay, but I'm still gaming to this day. Okay, and I'm gaming, roughly speaking, I'm gaming at least twice a week right now. And I think I've been averaging about twice a week for, frankly, since I was 13. So now we're looking at 46 years of gaming. Okay, but included in the Yldrbac Chronicles, understanding that that story starts at the beginning of creation and ends with the fall of mankind and the return to paradise. Okay, just because of the way it worked out, it's the tail end that got written first. But tied into this, and you'll find this right in the birth of the wolf pack. Well, not that. Right in this story. Okay. Right in this story, you'll come across a group of gamers, people that are playing D&D. This is this is science fiction, science fantasy. Okay. Depending on who you talk to. But it starts post-apocalyptic in that book. Okay, but right smack near the end of it, you'll run into a group of gamers that are tied into the story. Okay, so as I've told people, I wrote this story as a gamer with gamers in mind. Okay, and this is just one of the stories that get tied up into it. Now I'm writing the entire saga all at the same time. Okay, so I'm looking, like I said, I've got 197 pages already written, and I think I've got about 20 pages more that are already handwritten that I'm adding onto this. And they're what I'm going to be working on today for the most part. But what I'll do is I'll end up, and this is where that 15 minutes to half hour marker comes in. I'll end up working on putting, say, 2 pages done, whatever I can get, 1 or 2 pages done, and then go and do something else, do another one of the small tasks so that I can break it up and get these goals completed. Okay, that way I can make a fair chunk of headway. And the way I figure it, if you think about it, if I'm getting 2 pages, if I get 2 pages in an hour done, okay, 15 minutes to half an hour, okay, if I get 2 pages an hour done, I'll be working for 8 hours, right? So I should get about 16 pages copied over, plus getting a number of other goals worked out. Okay, very important. If you're going to be successful, you got to realize you're the one that's going to have to do the work. You can talk to everybody that you run into about your desires, about how to get things done, but you're the one that's going to have to do it. And the real backbone to that, and I've shown you this multiple times, this little sign. Okay, I've got one of these in my office, obviously, because that's where I'm sitting, which is also, by the way, the brain pan of both your home and your house. I've got another one done that I wrote on cardstock and had laminated. It is attached to my fridge door. If you don't have one already there, put it there. It helps immensely in motivating yourself for your own worth, your own self-esteem, your own self-motivation, and that's just a few of the things it helps with. Okay, the neat part is, as you get this done, the more focused, the more relaxed you'll be, and your stress level comes down. Balance point, stress level comes down, energy level goes up. Nice little side effect, if you ask me. I've also got a third copy of that sign right on my front door, right when you come into my apartment. Okay, now will I improve that sign so it looks a little better? You bet. Just not yet. Okay, but with the Chronicles, what I'm doing is I'm putting that story together. I failed. I did not attain the goal that I had, which was get the story written by May, by my birthday, which was May 13th. Okay, I did set the goal for myself, but that did not work out because, like I said, professional procrastinator. However, I can still make the end of that happen. Okay, I can still get the goal of getting the Return to Paradise out in print by the end of this year. I've still got enough time to do that, but I've got to get on it. Net result, starting in the next day or two, I'm going to get back to before I get it written. The original idea was write the whole book out, then start editing it. Well, that's been altered. Okay, I'm going to have to start doing the editing on the first part of it, so it'll all get finished at just about the same time. And again, this falls into that neat little pattern of that list. Okay, I'm a firm believer that putting that list together helps immensely in keeping you organized. If you happen to be ADHD or ADD, where you just can't get anywhere, okay, where you need reminders or you require somebody to really push you and say, this is what's going to happen. Now, many people that I've talked to that have been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD have been told you will always have to have help. Okay, in my opinion, this is not entirely the case. However, if you're getting assistance, stay with it because every little bit will help. There's no question there. Okay, but it's like if you're stuck with alcoholism. Okay, many people say if you're an alcoholic, you'll be an alcoholic for life. Hello, used to be one. Used to kill a 26er a night. Okay, now we're talking, well, at this point, it'd be 40 years ago. I was drinking a 26er a night. I wouldn't even blink when I put that away. Now it takes me 10 years to finish one. Okay, now with that in mind, okay, I am living proof that you can walk away from that monkey because now I can sit with a bottle of alcohol beside me. I can sit, I can have a drink or two drinks if I want, if I desire, and that usually happens around Christmas and New Year's. But if I don't desire to drink, I don't bother. I don't have that urge anymore. I overcame it. Okay, and yes, I can tell you how to do that, but I'll get to that a different day. Side note on that. Okay, when I'm talking about walking away from that kind of a problem, and it's the same as walking away from this idea of I never get anything accomplished, I need help, I need somebody to push me. You require, as long as you believe you need somebody to push you, the odds are you'll be like. However, if you get to the point, or more to the point, when you get to the point of going, for the time being, I require or I desire somebody to help push me until I can get my feet on the ground, you will break that tendency. Okay. It just boils down to writing that short list down, go, I've got to get this done. Okay. This is something I desire to get done. So here's a little chore. You get that goal checked off. And I will tell you, just watching that list of completed tasks, build, you will build that wonderful desire of doing things that you can accomplish. Okay, because you're the only one in existence that's going to do that. Now, there is this neat little issue of being successful. Boils down to your effort. You cannot be successful for somebody else. You cannot be responsible for somebody else's actions. Now, do understand something very critical here. The way the law is written, and I'm talking the law as in the court system, at least in Canada, is you can be held responsible for somebody else's actions. But karmically speaking, you are not. Karmically speaking, people have free choice. You have the choice. Are you going to live the life you've been living? Or are you now at a point where you feel you don't desire that life anymore? I was talking to an individual today that has been doing very well in their given profession, but they've now made a definitive choice, and they've announced said choice that they are breaking away from that. They're tapering off their one profession to really go after their dream. Now, this is an intelligent move. And as I talked to them before, if you're looking at changing, or when you're looking at changing from the career you've got or the job you have, and you desire to switch jobs to something else, make certain you have a replacement income before you do so. You have to make certain of that. Okay. Now, I've got a couple of goals in mind for my own, which is why I am going to. Well, I will be in time. When I look at the linear side of it, in time, I will be successful. The reality of it is, I am starting to step out of the closet, as it were. I'm starting to step out of the shadows and come forth and say, this is what you've got to do if you desire to be successful in your eyes. Now, success in your eyes may be nothing but, nothing but, may be operating a household comfortably, where you've got a stable income, where you can afford to live, and I don't mean exist. Okay, and that's where this neat little sheet comes in. We have legally acquired a minimum of $3,800 by May 31st, 2022. Okay, now that's for my household. This is because I work and because I have my own business. Inner Voice Enterprises has legally generated a minimum of $700 by May 31st, 2022. Okay, but that 700 is included in the 38. And again, I keep these signs handy for myself so that I can stay on top of it. Matter of fact, did I actually write that down? Yes, I did. While I was talking to you a little earlier, you may have seen me reach over to write something down here. Okay, I mentioned I'm going to be looking at my finances because I just got paid. So now I'm going to go update what's already come in and see where I'm standing as far as income goes. Okay, it's just one of those things that, from my standpoint, is absolutely crucial to make sure I stay on track. Now, because I've got where it comes to my finances. Okay, and understand, finances are not the be-all and end-all. Money is simply a barter system. But in my opinion, it's easier to move a $10 bill around than it is to move a cow. Okay, in the old days, it was and this is why cattle ranchers did so well. The more cattle you had, the more money you had. Okay, well now, the more little pieces of paper or the more little discs of metal that you've got, the more money you've got. And here's the funny part about it, is in today's society, it's now a question of how many things are recorded in digital money. The money isn't, it's not a question of how much you've got. It's a question of what you do with it. Okay, and I will tell you, money itself is not the thing that you aim at. Money has to become a side effect. Okay. Now, what I'm looking at this point, and this is what I'm aiming for now, okay, is to get these things dealt with. I've got some emails and some letters that I have to get written. Okay. One of the letters that I have to get written, okay, will be, and this came really to bear when my brother passed away a couple of months ago. You'd think I'd have got the message before, but apparently I'm slow. Okay, now that's in my opinion. Okay. But again, it boils down to a procrastination thing. Okay, so the goal is, when you're writing and when you take a look at this, you'll notice it's written in present tense, as in have. Okay, it's already occurred. Okay, it's not something I'm going to acquire, it's something I already have. Okay, now obviously from a linear standpoint, it does not make sense that by May 31st, because May 31st hasn't got here. It has not arrived. Okay, but what I'm doing with the Chronicles, okay, is I will be dealing with that right after I get done with the finances. So we mark that down here. We mark down hard to soft. Okay, I'm also working on my left hand, getting my writing back. I was talking to somebody one day, and they told me they had a stroke 5 years ago, and they reached a point where they went, no, that's as far as I'm healing. Well, I'll tell you, here's where that gets to be a problem. I threw my back out a couple of weeks ago, and here I am going, I know I'm a fast healer, but I'm in pain. So I'm going to rely on medication. In my case only, not yours, my case. Painkillers don't work as well as they can. Okay, I'm immune to so many things, it's absolutely ridiculous. But I sat here, I suffered through the pain, and I kept taking painkillers to last for a couple hours. And then about 3 days ago, it's like, what am I doing? Yes, my healing rate will handle a lot of it. But I went, hold it, I can cure this. Today, after a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks in absolute agony. Okay, and then 3 days ago I went, no, I don't require this. I can heal this myself. Well, I'll tell you, started focusing on the healing side of it, and now I'm able to move quite functionally comfortably. I still can't push it too far. But that's not bad. I'm not on painkillers of any kind at this point. Okay. But the issue I was looking at there was they went, I'm stuck this way. And I went, no. Yeah, this is as far as I've got this far. This is as far as I've managed to rebuild. My left hand, I used to write really well with my left hand, albeit in mirror image. But when I had the stroke, that collapsed. Now what I'm doing is going, okay, enough is enough. It's a case of rewiring, of deciding I no longer desire to suffer that way. I no longer desire to have the troubles. So I'm going to heal the whole 9 yards of it. Now, where it comes to, and I'll get into this again later. Okay, but it's just one step at a time. The real trick is to believe it's possible, because one of the catches, and by the way, belief in and of itself doesn't work. You've still got to do the work. Sometimes you'll need the help. But you're the one that's going to have to do it. Okay, now I keep these to a half an hour. So if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, do subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of it. Working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it's going to take everybody's effort, or the majority anyway, to shift gears. So with that in mind, I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.